Welcome everyone, today we'll have a special Diablo 4 Necromancer summons build. If you look behind me, you can see a horde of skeletons and also summons. And this build is actually really fun. So let me quickly give you guys a highlight of the build, how much damage you can deal, and how nice it is. This build can also use the corpse explosion, but as you're gonna see in the video, I'll try to avoid using this particular broken combo as much as I can, but this build is extremely powerful with a combination of corpse explosion and also skeletons. So here we'll be facing some of the elites. I'll try to not use corpse explosion and not do much, and monster just dies. So this monster dies in about 2 or 3 hits from my summons. And again, I'll show you guys a few of the fights with the elites. You can also top your monster up with the skeleton summons and also make them do more damage. So here again, I'm trying to not use all my combos, just using summons and not doing anything here. Just watching them do it. You see on my cooldowns, not do anything, and it dies super fast. And let me show you guys fighting the boss. Again versus a boss, I'm trying to not use corpse explosion. I'm just using half of my cooldowns, and boss dies within 3 or 5 seconds. So there you go. Have a look at the boss. I'm not pressing any buttons, no essence, just stands there. The boss dies super fast. I think this is close to Asmogon's, the Hydra build. He did 5 seconds, right? I think we can definitely take it down to close to 5 seconds, because if you look closely, my attack power increased up to over 800, and I can be even stronger if I get some of my much needed codex. I'm still missing 1 or 2 of those. So coming over to my character. Now the skill choices are pretty unique, and I want to go through with you guys first. Of course, you'll be going with summons, so summoning skeletons and also summoning golems. Here we'll briefly talk about the choices of the Book of the Dead. We'll be going with skeleton skirmishers, so we have 8 skeletons in total because of the amulet, which I'll show you guys very soon. So 8 skeletons. This increases our damage by at least 17% compared to the critical one. We prefer the extra skeletons. They also attack super fast with bonus damage. We'll also have the golem over here. The golem itself, we could not have the damage golem at level 28, so I'm going with a tanking golem, which gives me more corpses, but I'm not really using the corpses, right? Yes, I'm having the blood mist for additional burst damage and also AoE damage clear, so the skeletons can clear, whatever is left. But as you saw in the display, we're not really using any of my combos. So here there's 5 points into corpse explosion, the 1 point and also 3 points into the blood mist. We're not really using it. I just want to show you how powerful the build is without it. But of course with it, everything explodes, right? It's like this. So this is with it, without it, it's really powerful. Finally, we'll go with Army of the Dead, and this will raise summons and also give us a ton of damage. What you want to see is my right click and also left click button are very designed to be unique and different. We do not have a basic spell. The Bud Light is what pulls enemies together and also give us 15% more damage against enemies. Very, very powerful. And we have a massive burst with Bone Spirit. This allows us to use all of our essence to do a massive burst. And if you saw in the replay and also the gameplay, you're gonna see I didn't use this spell. This is actually my massive burst spell. I didn't even use it. Because why? Because I just want to show you guys the skeletons. They're really powerful. Now coming over to a skill tree, you're gonna see I have 2 points into Decompose, so 1 point here and also 1 upgrade, but I'm not really using Decompose, so don't worry about whatever you pick. Decompose is nice if you can get the 10% damage increase, but ideally you don't really get that going. So the focus over here is 1 point into Bud Light and also into its upgrades, so both of your character and also your minions deal 15% more damage, and this is very consistent, very big boost of damage, so definitely pick this one just for 1 point. We're not using this spell for damage, just for the buff. Now over here we'll be going with 5 points into Corpse Explosion, and if you do not have the particular item over here, which is the Blood Mist turns Corpse Explosion AoE, it is okay. So you don't have the trigger legendary, it's okay. You don't have to bring the Blood Mist, you can just bring Corpse Explosion. And the good thing about doing this is you actually save 3 points over here. And there's a lot of other points I really wanted, like increase of my Bone Spirit and also other perks. Now over here, we'll definitely be perking to 3 points into the Skeleton Warriors, and those will be the major source of damage. The Mages, not much so, but the Skeleton Warriors, 45% damage bonus is massive. And as we keep going, you don't see any points over here because we don't have enough points. I could go into this, but I prefer burst damage with the Bone Spirit. It is my choice for this one. As for the Bone Spirit, I have a lot of essence, and sometimes I want to spend all the essence for burst of damage. This spell also have a 10% critical increase, so this is really good if I just need a boost of damage to kill everybody else and leave one target to be focused on by the skeletons. Now finally, we'll go with Army of the Dead for 2 reasons. One is that it will summon your skeleton warriors and also mages, and on top of that it will also create corpses for the corpse explosion. And if your warriors do die, which sometimes they do die, you can revive them instantly and do a much higher burst damage because of this spell. So in terms of the assignment of the skills, notice we have 7 active spells, not including the Corpse Explosion. Let's say if you do not have this Blood Mist legendary aspect, what you do is you will assign your particular Corpse Explosion over here, and that's all you do. You still do my method of assigning Blood Light and also Bone Spirit. This is my choice, I'll show you guys in the gameplay, it's actually really powerful. But if you do have the legendaries, you can just sub this way. And you do get a little more AoE and also more survivability because of this spell. Now, if you guys happen to have additional skeleton mages with a legendary codex, make sure you come over for the 3 points in this one. You don't have to go with the Bone Spirit after this, and also you can then take the basic spell. I'll have the variation for you guys, and the basic spell will also provide us with additional damage. So my current variation, I do not have additional mages, so the mages are not the biggest factor for me to do damage. I actually prefer the burst damage over here. So if you guys do want to see the variation, make sure you check the links below. I'll have the skill tree for you guys for different variations. Now coming over to the items and also codexes. The strongest item I have found for this build is definitely this particular legendary aspect imprint. So this was obtained from gloves. I was gambling for gloves for the offensive, aspects, and eventually I found this. But I was really hoping for other ones, which I'll show you guys very soon. So this is the highest roll that's possible. Increase attack speed of your summons by 28%, up to 84% for 3 seconds. This is why the quicker way I attack, the quicker way I attack, and everything dies. So within 3 or 4 seconds, the boss will die super fast. Now over here, I also have some offensive aspects imprinted on the rings. So this one increases skeletons damage for 22% while they are alive, and which they'll definitely be alive. And over here, we also have increased maximum skeleton by 3. Now for this particular codex, ideally I don't want to use this imprint. What I'm missing and what I was rolling, I was rolling for 2 days for this one. So what I was rolling was this one, Skeleton Commander, which increases the attack speed of your army when you use this particular spell. And this will be a tremendous boost for my build, but I couldn't find this one. And finally, I was looking for extra mages. It is not the biggest factor, but it will help a little bit. But I already have everything I wanted except this one pretty much. I just wanted this bonus attack speed when I cast my ultimate. So ideally, I want my imprint of aspect to be my burst ultimate, which gives everyone attack speed, but 3 extra skeletons is okay. So keep in mind, we get 200% bonus effect on the two-handed sword, and also 50% bonus over here, so 150% bonus. That's how I got 3 skeleton warriors instead of 2. So this is the top row of 2, then we turn this into 3. Now as for the boots, a very interesting particular mechanics is going to be the Blood Light. So here we will see in the gameplay, my Blood Light, which I cast over here, it is a bow that shoots at enemies, and when it hits, it will pull enemies together. It will also deal increased damage to enemies for a few seconds after, for 6 seconds actually. So this is a very good spell, and if it pulls enemies together, then your Corpse Explosion does massive damage. So this is a definitely must-have for one of your defensive items. So this is one of the utility codex that we can have, so definitely consider having this one on one of your utility gears. So I recommend going on to the boots because we don't have anything greater on the boots. Now as for the pens, nothing too special. I'm just getting blood orbs from the Corpse Explosion, and also if I had the perk over here, I didn't have extra perks. If I find my minions to be dying a lot, I'll go for this perk, which allows blood orbs to heal minions for 15%. But because I went for 3 points into Blood Mist, I don't have those points. So if you guys are using Corpse Explosion instead of Blood Mist without the imprint of aspects, of the legendary aspects, you have more choices over here to make tanky allies, or you have more choices over here to make skeleton mages stronger. Now my helmet is very straightforward. This is my favorite helmet at the moment. Almost every build will have this one, because this increased damage dealt to bosses by 44%. Very big multiplier. My chest is not much a big deal, it's the same chest, I just get a bit of healing. I could go for something offensive, but I really can't be bothered. The chest is not a big factor as well. It's really nice to have some thorn, and also the healing is really nice roll. And as for the gloves, this is the interesting part. This is one of the reasons I want to stand still. If I stand still, my damage is massive. Look at my attack damage, which will be scaled onto my skeletons. 809 damage. And if I move, I'm back to 600 damage. So as long as you stand still guys, everything goes up. So this goes up, and I'll show you guys this one goes up, everything looks perfect. So this is the focus. If you stand still, everything goes up. And this is very powerful, especially when you play your cards properly. And against bosses and against minions, you get to see the numbers rolling. The longer you fight, the stronger you become. Now briefly talking about a few of the choices of the stats of the gears, nothing too special to be honest. You do want a bit of rank to Blight, but it's not a big deal. You're not using damage for Blight. You want some ranks to Corpse Explosion, that will be really good. So here we have plus Corpse Explosion, and this is one of the reasons we have plus 6 to Corpse Explosion. But unfortunately in the display I didn't really use it right, so I want to give you guys a fair showing of the build without the OP broken build. And as for boots, you want a bit of movement speed. For the two-handed weapon, well, I'm going for the distance damage increase. Notice I rolled for 20% distance damage increase, because most of the time I won't be close to enemies, and this allows my summons to do more damage. Critical damage is okay, vulnerability is okay, any of the summoning damage increase is really good. So if you look at my rings, you can see summoning damage, skill damage 4.5%, 3%, and also here attack speed by 3%. They're not massive, but they're not bad. And if you do get cooldown reduction, those are really good as well. Now in terms of socketing choices, I recommend going for HP or Thorn on your armors, and also going for the increased critical chances to vulnerable targets. And of course for the sockets of the amulets, you can just go for anything, you can go for any of the resistance. Now because we're summoning build, it is best I come over here and show you guys the whole gameplay of the concept of the build and also how it works. So right away you can see that I talked previously about my builds and also summons. Let's say if you're starting the build, to get your whole army, you just press your hotkey for the summoning of the army. So what I mean is over here. If you press Army of the Dead, you'll summon your whole army right away, so you don't have to look for corpses, which is really annoying. Although it's got a 60-second cooldown, we rarely use this spell except for bosses, because we're so powerful. So here I just summon my army. I'm running around with my boys. We look really good. We have over 10 skeletons and friends over here. So everything pretty much dies. Now one thing you do want to notice here is I'm using Blight to group enemies together. What you should normally follow is, after grouping enemies together like this, because of the pens of the legendary pens, we can... It's a boots, not the pens. The legendary boots, I keep forgetting. So this is the one that group enemies together. Very good. After grouping them, you should technically be using your Blood Mist or Corpse Explosion. When one dies, everything dies. But of course, I'm trying to not show you the OP build, right? No one wants to see that too much. But it works without the OP build. That's how good the build is. So over here again, I will be using Blight to put enemies together. If enemies do control you, notice here I got crowd control. This is when you use the Blood Mist to get out of that and also deal massive damage. Everything dies so fast. So our build still uses the strongest combination in the build for the Necromancer, which is the Blood Mist. And again over here, what you want to do is, you want to find corpses to heal your skeletons and also increase the damage by 20%. I'll quickly show you guys what I mean over here. So you have two active spells. The skeletons that you summon will get healed and also deal more damage when you press this active. And I'll just show you over here. So yes, you increase them damage by 20% and also heal them for 10% maximum life. And you get to see this priest coming over. This is for a few seconds. You can see the hotkey bar over here reducing for the seconds. And the second thing you want to do is, you want to use your golem to taunt, because your skeletons are not that tanky, but golem's really good. So coming back over here, you do see I use the golem a little bit, but I rarely use it that much, because no one's really dying. And if you do find lots of corpses, you can heal everyone and just keep going. Over here, again, I'm using Blight to pull enemies together, but I'm not using Corpse Explosion because it's too broken. I just want to show you the damage. So the build is not even half complete, because what I'm showing you is just the summons. I'm not showing you the whole build. This is why I say if we fight the bosses, I can take it down in less than 5 seconds. So here I'm not using my essence, I'm not using Corpse Explosion, just press my ultimate and let my minion do all the work. I'm not even using anything. So it is very powerful, and you have a look at the attack speed of the skeletons. It goes up to 80 plus attack speed after 3 seconds, and they're incredibly strong. And they're not even critical hitting, they're just doing massive damage. And then against single target, this is the best build for the Necromancer. Now before I finish, in case you guys are wondering where to put your particular items if you do get those perfect legendary aspects, so for the skeleton mages, I'll put on one of my utility slot. And just to show you guys the utility slot can be on the chest, and this is actually really good, because currently my chest does not have anything on the right. I don't really need a life healing. So utility slot, I could go with a chest for more skeleton summons. After that, what I really want is, I don't really need a defensive one, but I can still use it. So what I really want is gonna be the unyielding army, and for more attack speed. So if I get this one, I will actually have it on the amulet for the bonus 150% more effect. And what I also do is, I will come over here and move my gloves. My gloves will take over for the extra 2 skeletons. So this way we'll have a little more. And that's the perfect build for me if I find the last 2 legendary aspects. But after 2 days, guys, I couldn't find it. But I really want to make the build for you guys to show you how good it is and how good you can be using skeletons and also corpse explosion. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.